All right. Um, I'm a little slow on the movement myself, so I don't know what it is. Let me check something.
And you look fine to me.
Okay. I feel like I'm
I
slow
feel
on
like
my
I'm slow on
computer.
I feel like I'm
But
slow on mine too.
yeah, I don't know what it is today. It might be one of them days, but hopefully it's not. I got a good
Mm-mm.
signal, so I don't know what's going on, but we'll figure it out. Uh,
Let's go.
um, it's those adjustments, man. They can mess you up. Let's see here. It's like jittery, but hey, it's we're gonna do what it is that we do.
Let's
Um,
go. My
let me
ringer
close
off.
that
Let's
out.
go.
Oh, I should have stuck it in preview. All right, we are up, and it is 10:01 in the morning. Um, for some reason, my roadcaster keeps changing the time, and I don't know why, but I'll figure that out because that's not good. But hey, we're up,
There
we're
we go.
rolling,
Here.
and let's do what it is that we do by bringing it in the way that we bring it in. Da, 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 da. Let's do it this way.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. All right, here we go. Hey,
Morning.
welcome to the Black Filmmakers Lounge. We're doing what it is we do. So, hey, the Black Filmmakers Lounge is where independent filmmakers, whether novelists or professionals, come together to gain insight and perspective through education, information, networking, and to discuss industry best practices that will advance the Black independent film community. I had to say the independent film community. I'd like to say good morning to each and every one of you. I'm Michael Melvin, your host, my co-host, Tamara T.K. Henderson, and we are here hanging out with y'all. And today's topic is the technology movement shift in film and film, the film industry. So when we talk about AI, Chat GPT, got tongue tied there. But of course, we've been talking about AR and VR with the Apple Vision Pros and, of course, the other ones, Meta,
I pull it. Oh,
Oculus. There we go. Yeah, Oculus. And just the different what's out there, what's coming, how does it affect us as independent filmmakers, um, and what do we need to be looking for? What do we need to be doing differently? Um, because we need to, we absolutely need to. But before we get into that, we always got the what you watching and all stuff. But I'm gonna let TK say hello. What's up, TK? How you doing?
good morning. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone had a great week. Um, I watched Jacoby's movie, Jacoby Simmons on Amazon Prime, Swing the Movie. So, yes, I was able to check that out this week.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. Is that it? That's all you watched? That's it. That's all you watched this week.
You don't understand. You don't understand. It's DoorDash and Jade. Like I can't
Okay,
make this up. I get instructions every day, and I work every day on both of those. Like every day, I'm getting instructions.
gotcha.
So yeah, by the time I get home, it's no 2 hour movie or 1 hour. I try to watch sometimes when I eat dinner, but at this season, at this moment, like I'm gonna watch something when we get off. I am gonna watch something when we get off today because I have a little time. I have a couple hours, but yeah.
Okay. Well,
What are you
well,
guys watching while Michael is telling us his list? Because
yeah. What y'all been
how you feel
watching?
this week? Did you get back to work this week or
Oh, I've been back at work. I've been back at work.
okay?
For me, it's just been trying to get things moving. It's yeah, just getting squared up. Planning a lot of conversations, a lot of research going on. I do what I do. Got to be in constant research and hold on. I'm just, I'm just like, hey, um, relaxing, doing the things we do, relaxing. But I did watch The Last Airbender on
Okay.
Netflix. I watched Halo on Paramount Plus, the new episode, because the second season has started, and The Last Airbender. And it kind of those line up actually with what we're talking about today, right? And I feel like I'm jittery. That's what's probably getting me right now is on screen. I feel like I'm real jittery, and I definitely am because I can see it playing out on Facebook and YouTube. So I don't know what it is that's causing me to be real jittery. Go ahead, Ecamm, and fix that. Uh, but I don't know why. I don't know what's making me do that. Let me check something out. I'm gonna try a little shift here.
Okay.
Am I jittery now? I'm still jittery. So I don't know what it is. But it is what it is. I'm just gonna do what we do. It you know me, I'm a tech person, so that bothers me. That's the
Yes.
funny thing. It bothers me. It's like that thing that's like, we just fixed that. But to talk about The Last Airbender, which I got to go back. I think I remember episode 1 and 2. By the time I woke up, it was on episode 4 already. They're about almost an hour long. Dave strung along a lot of the original cartoon into it, and actually the very stuff we're going to be talking about today kind of lines up with it because the Unreal Engine was used to create the backdrops and the environment for it. And that's kind of interesting that as independent filmmakers, we need to really be thinking about the shift in technology, right? Um, and so this article, I'm gonna jump to the thing. We're gonna jump to the screen flow. Boom. This article popped up yesterday, probably all over the internet. Tyler Perry is so shocked by OpenAI's video generated Sora that he's pausing an 800 million studio expansion. A lot of jobs are going to be lost. So, and let's talk about that because I think this AI revolution or evolution is because AI's been here. AI it's been here. It's gonna be here. It's not going nowhere. I think the issue or the key component about AI is regulating, right? We know that right now you cannot copyright AI generated material, whether it's art, whether it's a script, whether it's a book, whatever you make with AI, you can't copyright it because it's made by generated, created, and designed by a computer versus a human being. So the copyright laws cover people; they don't cover computers, technology doing it. So right now, like I said, right now, because I say I can change. A judge ruled that. I forgot when exactly that was, a few months back or whatnot, or last. During the time the strike was happening with the actors and screenwriters and stuff, and so and this is interesting because let's get real. Most people when they talking about the technology, the industry, they're always talking about. I'm gonna go back to us real quick. They're always talking about the camera work, the editing, but we don't talk about script writing. The very thing you need to tell a story. Like, like it's like the last thing everybody wants. Well, script. Well, it's like, why is script writing in TK? Because you're a script writer. Why is it the last thing people really consider in the first place?
Do you know what I was told when I started this industry and I was taking all the workshop and shops in LA and classes and all that stuff?
Mm-hmm.
They told me that when you sign your contract for a big movie, you have to put in your contract that you get tickets to the premiere.
Mm.
They
Wow.
don't care about screenwriters. They just do not. And it's like you said, it's the craziest thing. It's like we should be the first. Like we create the story. We create the story. Like, and I don't, whether that someone gives us the concept, whether that's
Mm-hmm.
someone that pulls us in to prepare the script for screen, or if it's an original script, we prepare the story for screen. But we are the last to be thought about. We are the last to be. People will. It's amazing to me how I watch. Um, there's a project, and there's a project that I was helping with pre-production on, and then the producer figured out 4 days before they were shooting that the script was not ready.
Okay.
4 days before shooting, the script was not ready. So they didn't halt production, they didn't cancel production. So all of the time, money, and resources that are going in,
Mm. And you know
I
what?
yeah.
I used to hear there was the story about Jaws. I don't know if you
Mhm.
remember Jaws. When
Mhm.
Steven Spielberg and they're working on Jaws, they were writing the next page the night before. You know, they were working on the script the night before for the next what the scenes they're shooting the next day and stuff. And but you got to be still got to be good to write that. Like, and then you got to give it out. You know, it's like you kind of had a preliminary script, but then you were still kind of winging it and making changes and adjustments on the spot the night before. Um, I thought that
I
was
know
always a
someone else.
fascinating.
Yeah, I know someone else that did that on another movie, an independent film. I I just I bottom line is I don't understand how people will take someone's time and resources and not make sure the script is prepared and ready to go. I mean, that's just the bottom line. It is what it is. I don't understand it. I will never understand it. There is nothing that can make me understand it. But if you are not prepared, it's like we do all of this stuff. We pray for all this stuff. We do all this stuff. We do all of this stuff, but we don't prepare the basics. We don't prepare for what
And
we're asking or wanting people to come on and help you do.
so and in that, and I'm gonna because I want to pivot just a little bit. It's the basics. It's like we're now talking about AI, Chat GPT, um, all these things, right? That are going to supposedly make filmmaking easier and
Hmm.
cut budgets and take a lot of jobs. And I was thinking for a second, well, if you don't have the basic skills, like the basic writing skills, because with even with all these things, you still got to tell it what to do. You have to explain how you want it done. And I'm gonna put this on screen real quick because this has been the big talk when it comes to AI, Open AI, and Chat uh, GPT is Sarar. Sarar is basically you can write in instructions in text, and it will create a scene for you. And this is here it is. The prompt was a stylish woman walks down a Tokyo street filled with warm, glowing neon and animated city signage. She wears a black leather jacket, a long red dress, and black boots. Now, I'm gonna show you something because here's the thing: the hands. Look at it. Look at those hands right there.
Hmm.
The fingers are too long, right? This is why
Oh
when people are
God!
like,
Oh, it looked like a lobster claw.
exactly. See, this is why when people start going, AI is the thing, and AI still hasn't caught up to being truly 100% real. I mean, her face details are great. Okay, the reflection off her glasses, sunglasses, they're
Hmm.
great. But the simplest detail, one of the most important is the hand features. AI cannot get hands right no matter what you do. People who have 6 fingers, 7 fingers, for some reason AI can't figure out hands. Probably feet too. My shoes is fine because they're not toes and not. But and so
Ugh, I kind of want to see the toes.
you know, so like when people are sitting here going, yeah, it's the thing, and I'm like, there's still a problem. You still need people. Okay, yeah, it'll be eventually AI. AI is good to me for backdrops. Like the city looks nice. Okay. And we go over to things like Unreal Engine and LED backdrops like they use for Mandalorian and 1899 and the last Airbender and all. If we go into that, yeah, then that's a different ball game, right? Again, you can't copyright that. That means somebody can steal your backdrops or use the same thing you use to create that. Say the same stuff. And if they get the same thing, you can't complain. You can't sue them for it because it's AI generated. We got to remember that, right? Well, let's go to the next image because there's this next image. This was the prompt was several giant woolly mammoths approach treading through a snowy meadow. Their long woolly fur. So that fur, that detail in the fur, that's nice. That is quality. Yeah, I see it. I see it coming, right? But again, somebody could take this clip and use it themselves now. We were not to the point you can copyright that. You see, you're not protecting
some B-roll,
good
AI
B-roll.
generated B-roll.
B-roll transition. This was a movie trailer prompt. About 30 seconds. Says prompt, a movie trailer featuring the adventures of the 30-year-old spaceman wearing a red wool knitted motorcycle helmet, blue sky, salt desert, cinematic style shot on 35 millimeter film. And there's more vivid colors. That detail, the facial detail, but look how he walks when you see him walk. He was good at such a short clip, so you don't notice it. But if you're a filmmaker and you're detail oriented, the way they walked, the way the woman was walking was a little off, unnatural. Okay.
Oh yeah.
See, and that's the thing. You catch those things when you're very detail oriented, right? But see, here's the thing: to write those prompts, you have to be very detail oriented to get what you want. You still have to have the basic writing skills.
Because they cannot create the story, they cannot close gaps. Like you can make a movie, but you have, like you said, the basic skills of storytelling. You have to make sure you still have the story arcs, you still have the A and B story, you still have the dialogue. You still have to make sure that, like I said, there are no gaps in the story.
Yeah, because when I look at this, it's supposed to be a movie trailer. What's the story? It's nothing there. Oh, it's a guy walking. You see him closing the door in a spaceship. The spaceship looks like it's made out of tinfoil. It does. Like,
that it does.
You got a knitted thing. Okay, yeah, it can do those things. I like the detail. The detail's in there. The design, all that is in there, right? You can create that stuff. But here's the problems you're going to run into. We like actors.
How you going to direct him?
Right. But even if you can, here's the thing. If it's an actor we're not familiar with, are we going to treat it the same? Because right now you got to get the rights to use Denzel's image. Right? You got to get the rights to use an Idris Elba or Will Smith. Yep. They're not just going to let. And if I was anybody, if anybody's looking to get into acting, trademark yourself. That every time someone uses your likeness in any way, shape, or form, they got to pay you.
Yeah, because remember that happened to Tom Hanks. It was a dental commercial, and they used his likeness, and they made him, and he sued them. This was like a few months ago.
So and AI can generate anything, but not once it's like, look at the water, the ocean, right? This is a nice B-roll, shot, cutaway, gives you location and everything. Unfortunately, here's a realistic thing. If you understand waves, that wave looks so unnatural. You got a wave happening here and a wave happening here. This one's higher than this one. It's a different type of tide. Now, for a couple split seconds, it doesn't make you think about it. The first couple seconds I would use of that clip, right? But if you kept it going, this is going to look unnatural. Or should. As much as people pick movies and stuff apart, they should be picking this stuff apart. Right? So yeah, but it does look good. The shot looks good. It's there. And like I said, the quality, I'm not saying anything. Now, this is the creative side. This is not a real person. So you can get away with so much with something like this, right? This is where a Pixar movie comes into play or a different type of story. Now you can really play with something because nobody can really look for what's wrong with it because it's an animated thing. And that is the prompt. Animated scenes features a close-up of a short, fluffy monster kneeling beside melting red candle. The art style is 3D and realistic with the focus on lighting and texture. Let me hit that more button.
Dang.
Yeah, but see how detailed this is right here? Because that's what I want people to understand. When you use this, you're going to have to be very detailed. That means you're going to be at the skilled writer to get what you're really looking for. And I've played around with AI. I've played around with Chat GPT. If you got Canva, they got AI built in that. I've played around with that, creating. If you got Apple did an update where you can make your playlist and put covers, and you can share it with people, and you can build the playlist with another person or other people involved. And I designed some covers for the playlist. And I use that for that. Again, when you look at the hands, that's the telltale. The hands is always the telltale. That's why most people cut off the body before the hands. It's usually a medium shot or a close-up shot when they use the art created by AI, because the hands are always going to be the telltale. But with something like this in the animated realm, you're not going to worry about that if it can keep the fingers going, right? Because again, if it messes with this, and let's say one scene he has 5 fingers right now, but let's say another scene he's got 7. That clicks, and you won't forget it. You can't let go of it. Becomes continuity issues. So AI has a little bit ways to go. Papercraft SeaWorld. I mean, this is cool. This is good stuff. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say it is the worst or nothing. This is great. This quality looks fantastic. Right? We're in a whole different realm. The game changer is here. It just got to constantly get better and better and better. I think for somebody who's going to make animated content, this will probably be the most useful. And without a crew or a staff, you can minimize the work. You can use AI to generate voices or manipulate your voice to sound like different people or characters. So you can probably get a lot out of this. Right? And I think that's where I see animated films being the first shift before realistic films. The problem, again, is how is chat now? The thing about AI, it has to study something real. And if you're using other people's material, it becomes copyright infringement.
And so that's where, like we talked about the lost jobs, that's automatic. All the animators, all the animators, jobs being at risk. Like, of course, everybody's not going to just stop and use, AI to make movies, but because it's so expensive. It's so expensive because it is a full, like, that's a full art craft skill, like everything. Like, it is a major skill. And it's expensive. Like I said, it's expensive.
So I think AI will get rid of that expense. Yeah,
right
AI
there.
is going to cut a lot of costs on stuff. So that's that. But here's the thing, and I used to tell people, eventually people will price themselves out of work.
But I mean,
People have been underpaid in many ways, right? But then people will price themselves out of work. But it's a twofold. Here's the thing. As a studio executive, you should be scared. And this is why I say a studio executive should be scared. If you're not a creative person, the creative person knows what to create. So the creator knows how to use AI to be creative.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they might not have a job with you, but what they're capable of doing is creating. And you're just the average person. You're the middleman salesman is losing the job first. Because a photographer knows what to shoot and how it should look. They understand composition. A DP, they understand that. When you don't understand those things because you haven't studied it, now's the wake up. You get what I'm saying?
So when you said now you don't study, that's the thing. Like when I price myself out of work, nobody has done the work to even know what I'm supposed to be paid. I'm just speaking for me in general. You know what I mean?
Right.
So a lot of times we're not even doing the research to see what an animator is supposed to be paid, or what a director is supposed to be paid, or what a screenwriter is supposed to be paid. We're not doing, all we're doing is going in and ask the price. And then when we get the price, it's like, oh, well, that's expensive. Well, and a lot of times I've asked clients, I've asked potential clients, have you done your research to understand how much a scriptwriter gets paid? And they're like, no.
Right,
So
but I'm
it's
not even
like
talking about get paid though. The person coming to you 9 out of 10 times can't really write a script.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I'm gonna say 8 out of 10, right? They don't understand how a script should be written.
Mm-hmm.
They don't understand dialogue versus conversation. They don't, so like they haven't studied those things and they don't want to take the time. The reason AI is good for people, it's good for the people who don't want to take the time to learn it in their minds. Well, it's good because I don't have to. No, you still got to know the basics. If you don't understand the basics, you're just going to create generic crap. Let's just be real. You're just going to create a bunch of generic crap.
Oh my God, they're going to have, and it's going to be, you're going to be watching a movie and then you're going to be like, wait a minute.
I've seen this way before.
Look at those fingers. It looked like a lobster claw. Wait a minute.
No, but look, this is AI generated. This was great quality right here.
Oh, we seen a commercial. I think it was a Lexus commercial. We were watching TV one night, me and a friend of mine, and we were like, we kept looking. We was like, that's an AI man. And he was driving the car, and it was a whole, like, I think it was Lexus.
Hey, what's up? Good morning, Jalen. Jalen said, so this is what Jalen said. Here we go. I'm going to post this up. Bam. So what Jalen said is, yes, but the studio exec will just find a creative who is willing to do it, and there's always 10 of them, and pay them a hefty salary, which still comes out less inexpensive than a whole team. And that's the real issue. It is. And I can't say it's a real issue. And here's why, Jalen, I'm going to say this. As a business person and as a person who's looked for different jobs, if you go into any media job right now, they want somebody who does it all. They like, oh, do you do graphics? Oh, do you do After Effects? Oh, do you edit? Oh, do you shoot? Oh, do you? They want you capable of doing it all because they're always looking to cut down staff and have one person that can do more. Every industry is that way. Heck, if they could get the salesman to be the mechanic, they would. Like, if they could sell cars and have you fix it, they would. I mean,
and then I'm going to pay you, to sell the janitor's salary to do all of those 50 jobs.
And then you're going to work hard. The thing is, every industry looks for ways to cut corners. People in general look for ways to cut corners. I'll just be real. The Black Filmmakers Lounge probably wouldn't exist if people stopped cutting corners. Because there's a lot of people who don't want to study this industry. They don't want to learn the industry. I agree. You know, they're going to, in any business, you're trying to downsize and profit more. When, if you look at, and I was raised, follow the money. When you look at this inflation, these companies didn't lose money really. Most of them didn't. Most of them actually profited. Now I'm sitting there in my brain, I go, how do you really profit and then claim inflation when you increase price and yet the percentage of profit increased?
And
it'd be different if it balanced out, but it didn't. It increased.
And so you water down the product. So you saving money on top of that.
Yeah. So they're and then still charging you more for bad product. It's like at the end of the day, companies are always looking for ways to cut cost. And they're gonna support things like the AI, Chat GPT. Everybody's gonna support it. It doesn't just work in the film industry. It works in the software development industry. It works in the cybersecurity industry. It works, it's something that's gonna help different industries. I remember somebody say, I gotta write a paper. You know, I gotta write a letter. Let me get on Chat GPT and have it formulate a letter for me. It cuts time for people working. So we're gonna have to be very realistic as people, right? This is what business is about, right? Cutting time. Teachers are like, hey, our students going to just be turning in an AI written Chat GPT paper. They didn't do any research. Well, here's the crazy part. They still ain't learned nothing. So when you don't have a skill, definitely you don't have a job, right? A DP understands lighting. This lighting right here is good lighting here. Like, you got to think about it. We're looking at this guy reading this book sitting on a cloud. Now, the clouds behind him look a little realistic. This one looks in between. It looks like cotton a little bit, like it's fluffy thing.
A little Sesame Street cloud.
But for a commercial, it does what it's supposed to do if I did that. You know, and so, yeah, it does eliminate jobs. But if there's a guy on the street who looks just like this and he goes, yo, that's me, because where did AI put together his image from?
Facebook pictures.
that is the question. Where do you get that you can create this image? The hair texture. Look at his hair texture. The beard, the mustache, his physique. Something that's odd to me is his arm here versus his arm here. This is much larger and this is somewhat smaller. Again, if you understand anatomy, some things are going to draw your attention real quick because it looks off. Like, yo, his forearm looks almost bigger than his bicep.
Big as his bicep, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That muscle looks bigger than this. That's odd. That's like Popeye. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he look a little.
So you'll pick those things out if you. Now his hands are protected because you only see 3 fingers. You see the thumb and the 2 fingers. So you don't see the rest of it. You don't see the rest of the other side of his hand. So there's some things to that, right? But this is where, like I said, AI is almost there, but it ain't there. There was one where they had the dogs running. Like, this is a loop. This reminds me of Gran Turismo, Grand Theft Auto. It looks unrealistic, but it looks somewhat realistic enough for a video game or something.
Especially if it's a comedy, it looks perfect. Like, it'll work. You know what I mean?
Cutaway. If it's a quick cutaway, we're not going to pay attention to it. If it's only on the screen for 3 seconds or 2 seconds, no one cares.
Yeah, that commercial we saw, it took us a second because we just kept looking and looking, and we're like, wait a minute. Now, that's an AI commercial. I mean, an AI generated person.
Yeah. And so this is where I think AI for the independent filmmaker will thrive. When you can't get locations, but you can create a green screen room, or a LED room background. Like, you can put somebody in a museum right? You can set some chairs down, or you can have them walking around. So now that changes something, right? That's that movement there. Right? Yeah, you could put your characters here when you can't afford to go to the museum, or you can design your own fake art to go up because you can't pay for the trademark or copyright of somebody else's work. There's some good points to this stuff. Okay, we have to. I mean, I'm not gonna. This isn't bad. There's some good things to this. It's a drone shot. People walking. We're following. You're. It's here. I mean, it is here, and I think right now AI is going to be the thing for right now. Background design, green screen, or LED backdrops, and I'm gonna run over to that after this. You know, you can slow motion see it. I mean, there's some this right here. Time lapse, you generate it. Robot, you can't go wrong with a machine. So now you get to play around with a futuristic world, right? But you still got to understand camera movement. You still have to understand lighting. You still have to understand colors and tones. And AI has to like research that. What is it using to research it? It has to use somebody's work. You know? I think, and it, Thaddeus, thank you, Thaddeus. Good morning. Thaddeus says it. It's a tool. We keep trying to make it the main thing. I think that's the mistake a lot of people are going to make. I understand what you say, TK.
No, I just shook my head. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, look at this. This is good. This would be a nice little cutaway. But you know, again, there's this one thing. I'm trying to find it. Here it is. The dogs. Now this, the texture, the hair, all that, it's realistic. It is very realistic. I mean, you're like, oh, that's cute. I get it, right? This is a great dog commercial right here. And it didn't take a lot for the prompt. However, you got to make sure your next prompt matches this prompt. There's a lot of things you're going to have to really people still going to have to study AI in itself and how to write for it. That's going to be a job in itself. Not the puppies. The puppies, they're just, looks like it's just 3. It's the spawn was the wolves. Now look, AI can also get something wrong because it's saying a person prompt, step printing scene. He's running backwards on a treadmill. So AI can make mistakes. So it's going to be time consuming to get something fixed and get it right. See, everything doesn't come out the first time. Where if you're filming this, you already know he'd be running backwards. You're not going to film it that way. Again, AI still has a way to go to learn. Here's another problem with AI. Here it is, the wolves. Where are they coming from? You see all these wolves popping out of nowhere. Where they come from?
Oh, that's what.
So AI still has its issues, right?
I know. We go from. Wait a minute. Talking about. They just start multiplying. They got that Jesus math. That's what they.
Just jumping out of nowhere. So
they really just start coming out of nowhere. I like the shadow though. You see the shadow when the one walks off? I like the shadow.
You're gonna use small parts of clips, but where did these come from? Where they just were all together. If it was a superhero movie and one multiplied, that's different. But if it's just a regular,
that's hilarious.
So AI isn't perfect. Like we gotta understand that it's not perfect.
Like we said,
look,
I think
it doesn't. Where's the ball coming from? A ball goes through the hoop. Look at this. it goes through the hoop, not in the hoop, but through the hoop. Watch, that one goes in, but the other one comes through it. AI is still imperfect.
Like you said, I think cutaways would be me personally, I would think cutaways would be, I mean, the B roll. The B
Mm-hmm.
roll would be my, if I used AI, it would definitely be for B roll. Is this an AI generated too?
Yeah,
Archaeologists pulled it.
but no one's carrying the chair right now. And you don't even see him moving underneath the chair. There's nothing moving it, but all of a sudden this stuff is coming out. It's just coming out of nowhere. AI is imperfect. Now, Thaddeus says this will help level the field for independent filmmakers. And it possibly can if you know how to use a tool.
If you use it correctly, yeah.
Yeah. The problem will be people will try to use a tool to cut corners. So let's jump real quick. We're going to go over here. You've seen these a lot of movies coming out. Unreal Engine. There's a whole there's a class you can take to understand and learn Unreal. That's the Mandalorian. They use Unreal. Star Trek. They did basically this, and I'm gonna jump to it. Boom. This is an LED room. Okay, it's a backdrop. I'm gonna decline the cookies right now. So instead of having them perform against a green screen, you're having them perform against the screen of LEDs. And what they're saying, it helps with lighting. It puts them in the environment. Okay. You get the reflection off the glasses and the other things there because it's a virtual room. So remember, we're talking about the virtual reality and stuff.
Mm.
So Thaddeus says they have a LED studio in South Carolina. This is the next wave. LED studios, small ones, large ones, medium-sized ones. That's not a real huge one. But if you're learning computer generating, that's where I think AI comes in, helping create these background environments. You help set up the lighting here. This is what we should be learning with our filmmaking. There are already people who've made their short films using the LED environment studios to tell their stories. They're already doing it. You don't, and the thing is, this is why I say you can't totally get rid of people, because even if you create a fake environment, you're still going to need physical objects in the environment. Your actors still got to sit in the chair. They got to still sit in the chair. They got to still sit on the couch. They got to still pick up the cup, the glass. You still need your props.
Yeah, because somebody has to learn all of this to be able to film all of this, to set it up. Like, you just can't walk in an LED studio and say, stand right there and shoot. And then you see all those people are setting look at all of that.
What they're showing you is distance, camera, all that. So like, this isn't just, oh, we're just going to do this and it's just going to work out. No, you got to understand it. You got to learn from it. And the people who've learned it and know it, they're working in the film industry. They're working on The Mandalorian. They're working on 1899. They're working on The Last Airbender. They got the jobs. You got it. It's a virtual environment. And you got to learn to design it, create it. And yes, AI can really help with that. You see, this is a small set we're watching this guy on. It isn't a huge, big set, but it does cost. It's going to cost. But once you got it, you got it. Like, I know people always go, oh, it's expensive. It is. You team up with people. This is where we talk about filmmakers need to collaborate and build together. You could be popping out good quality movies and stuff. You're still going to need prop designers, right? They got to hold something in their hand. You still got to have people design it. You still have to have. Now, you're just not going to have as many. But that's, like we said, any job, any career. So as an independent, though, how do you value things? How do you see it? Somebody still has to rig that up. Like, you still got to bring some people to rig that jib up, the camera and stuff. That just isn't, that's not a just 2 people did that. All right. You still got to build these sets and design them.
Yeah.
You still got to
So
know how to.
you're not gonna lose every job, but there will be jobs lost, bottom
Yeah.
line. Just like the self checkouts at the Walmart. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it is
But
it's something
there's
that
still somebody working there. Like you might have 10 self checkouts, but you still got a person there.
right. So that just killed 9 jobs versus 10.
Yeah.
You know what
And
I mean? It
then,
saved 1 job.
yeah,
So
instead of, I wouldn't say 9 jobs because usually registers, not every register used to be open in the first place, but there's at least 5 or 6 jobs that, are taken from that because you don't have that many people on register. But that's also our fault on top of their fault because here's what I see with the registers too. And I'm just using it as an example. There's cameras on those now. They've invested to it's self checkout with a camera, so it monitors you. And pretty soon, you might not even have a bunch of self checkouts. The carts, because the Amazon carts and everything, it scans it when you take it off the thing and put it in a cart.
mm-hmm.
So, and I think Target and Walmart are investing in that now too. So, like, you might not even need anybody. You just need somebody to stock the shelves. And you're always going to need security, to watch, make sure things don't get stolen and stuff like that. We're creating those environments too, because we got to be innovators. If you're not innovative, that's where the problem comes. So you're seeing this. You're seeing the environment being created, computer generated background. And you should go check it out. Row Creative Displays. That's the LED. I mean the LED backgrounds are done by. All right, and go check them out. Right, Unreal Engine. That's the computer part of creating those backgrounds. That's the designing part. Over here, we were. This was one of the courses you could take for Master Unreal Engines 5 in just 8 weeks. So you got to go to school. You got to learn. It's not going to be an easy thing. It's an investment. If you want to be a filmmaker, you're investing in filmmaking. This is where when people used to get on me, why did you go to school for filmmaking and media and all that? Education. Now, there's another. I'm not saying you can't get it without going to school. I'm saying you can, but again, there's some things you got to go to school for. Because if some people don't have time on every set to teach you at the same time, all the time, it doesn't always work like that. And you're going to get paid less hands-on. And if we're talking about jobs going away, well, then if there's jobs going away, then the things that are taking the jobs, you're going to probably might have to go to school for. Just something to think about. So you see all these platforms up here, just in case. Okay, again, it sparked this from this article here. This is Yahoo Finance. Think about that. We're talking about money. Now, of course, if you're Tyler Perry, you're not gonna do an $8 million studio expansion. Do you need to? If I had built the studio, it'll be this. And then it'd have minor rooms, like the places you can't normally get: a hospital room, a school, a doctor's office, or a jail cell. Things that you don't want to have to keep trying to rent out all the time or beg to get use of, or all this, because they got to be used for real practical world stuff as well. So they may not have that available. Creating environments is be the thing. So Thaddeus said, I'm going to post this up. Thaddeus said, I think that's where he is headed, low-key LED. Yeah, he probably should. I mean, why not?
He's talking about TP, talking about
Tyler Perry.
he's probably gonna halt that, and then, just reimagine, and maybe he'll open some LED studios for something like that. That would be smart because he already has, um, the standard sound stages, and
Right.
then to invest in the, to open some LED studios, that probably would be a good move on his studio lot. But I don't know because I don't know. But
Right. I mean, but that's the thing. It's you don't know till you know, and he said absolutely to
mm,
you. So it's like this. And I constantly tell people this: you got to study the tools of the business and the business that tells you where it's going. If you're not studying the technology and the tools, you cannot gauge where
mm,
something is going. Jalen said he already uses LED.
okay.
So there you go. I mean, I haven't been to a Tyler Perry studio. I can't tell you. But I can say this: independent black filmmakers tend to be behind. I just want to be real. We tend to be behind. We're not part of the innovative community. We're not learning computers. We're not learning programming. We're not learning um, the stuff that the tools that are currently now being used. I'm not saying all of us. I'm saying as an independent, people who are in the industry, they work for these companies. They work for the Disney, so they learn it. They work for Universal, Sony. They learn it. They get the skill set. And there's very few of us. I talked about the last 2 weeks ago about the gentleman at Disney. Now, I shared it with TK and them. They made the moving floor, right? And for virtual reality, to be in those same rooms that we're looking at right now, that the moving floor, so the character can stay in one spot and it still looks like they're moving. Black man. I say that to simply say this: that awareness. He's in the room. He works for Disney.
Mm.
He's being innovative. He's getting used to the tools. He's creating it, developing it. Where are we? Where are we with this? And why aren't we with this? It's because virtual production is the thing. That's where AI is really going to flourish right now. We just watched the background of the woman walking in the city in Japan. We watched the backdrop of the ocean and the backdrop. Those things AI can really make right now without a problem. It's the people. It's not going to be as easy. Sorry. That's the notification. Keep me on track. What do you think, TK? I'm sorry.
No, I'm just listening because there are, as we talked about it this week, there are people who are supposed to be tapping into these jobs. No, me, I don't think it's for every single person, but to be aware, understand what it does, and then understand where we fit is definitely important in regards to individuals, because there are some people, like you said, that will create the moving floors, the LED walls. Some people may fit on the camera team in regards to understanding how to set this thing up to shoot it. There are people who create the LED walls, you know what I mean? So there
Mm-hmm.
is a lot, and then there's still storytellers, because even though you have a LED, you have all of this technology, you still need a basic story. You still
Yeah.
need the story. So
What do you?
understanding the technology and understanding where you fit.
Yeah. What are you creating the environment for? That's the whole point of the story. Why you gonna just make environments to make environments? No. It has to have You know what? You and I talked about this last week. Generating the world, creating the world,
Mm-hmm.
the fantasy world, the real world. If I can cut costs of not taking him, the motorcycle, everything to the mountain range, in the video with the guy on the motorcycle, if I can cut costs with that, and by putting them in a studio, and I'm just gonna cut back to it real quick. If I could cut this cost, I don't have to send him and find the perfect location. I can design it. Right? I could put a few people in there. I can still lay down the dirt and do all that. Still got to collect all. Look at that room. There's 1, 2, probably 2 on the computer here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I know I see an arm here, I think. I mean, you got to know, but also pay attention who's in that room. I want y'all to think about that, what you just saw. Who's in that room?
But when you need a unique location like a burger joint, I don't think that's going to be LED. Because
I think it'd be a mixture. I think you can still play with it, and you still got to build the set, right? You still have to build the practical stuff. Like I said, you can't CGI an oven. You're gonna have to you get an oven. You gotta get the water. They still have to have tangible things. So you still have a prop in design. You're still gonna have to do 3D printing. Those things are still gonna be there. And Thaddeus, you caught it. So that's why I said you gotta look at who's in the room. And it's not just, but this is why it's so important for us to educate ourselves and get the experience and know what's going on and be a part of it, be around it. Because these virtual sets are gonna be the next thing. Mm-hmm. Right, classroom kitchens. So we gotta think about this, right? We as independent filmmakers, the difference between an independent filmmaker and the movie industry is the movie industry tends to have more money. But there's a lot of $1 million independent films being made. Okay. We tend to make independent no budget versus low budget. I hate the term no budget because it's impossible. I'm going to say this again. There's no such thing as no budget. How did you get the camera?
How did they eat?
How'd you eat?
Even if it's ramen noodles. Like, you got to pay for it. Like,
there's a budget. There's a budget. It just might not be a big budget, but there's no zero budget.
Right.
If you can get a camera and equipment and things for zero, let me know, please. I want to know. I'm an acquiring mind. I want to know. Because I bought all my stuff.
Please tell me.
Yeah, please tell me how you did it. Because you had to have something, right? You just didn't show up and, camera, boom. This isn't Lucky Charms.
It came out like those foxes came out. Just pop up.
Yeah. I was saying, so I want y'all to think about that, right? So please stop using the no budget terminology. It's low budget, medium budget, mid-level, and high budget. I mean, that's really what you got to think about. When you do your contracts, you're basing on that. When you work with SAG, they don't have a zero budget film. It's a low budget film when you are negotiating with SAG. It's not a zero. We got nothing. No, you're not in it because you ain't wasting my time. It's an investment. But what are you learning? This is why we're big on learning and education of the industry, or of film, of the creative and the skill. I think it's all about skill sets. I think what's going to help people with AI and Chat GPT and all that is the ability to write and be very detailed oriented. Know that, yes, you might be cutting costs somewhere, but you're going to add a cost elsewhere, like time consuming. How are you going to fix the wolf issue of them popping out of nowhere? That's going to take time, right? But I think right now, AI for us in film is going to be great for very short things when it uses images of people or something, or dogs or whatever. Like, when I'm saying short, I mean like you're looking at 3 2-second clips, right? I don't think you're going to make a full all-out movie using just AI generated stuff, unless it's animated. I think that'll be the difference, right? But it might, and definitely can't be people, because unless it's the Simpsons, you everybody got 5 fingers. So I don't know about that yet. What I do think is background, that virtual background backdrops, that's where that AI is really going to soar right now, this moment, right now. But you're still going to have to understand how designing those backgrounds needs to take place. So you're still going to have to take some trainings, and you still have to understand lighting and angles and all that. It's still going to come in play. But most of all, the last thing everybody talks about, but should be the very first thing, is story. Script. How does that fit? And again, anything generated by AI is not copyright. You cannot copyright it.
That makes me happy.
That is the current law. That is the current rule. Judge.
That is the rule.
It cannot, it is not a person. Copyrights are meant to protect human beings, not computers. So that's something you got to think about too, because when you create something, that means if they know it's generated by AI, they can snatch it and use it.
They're gonna be looking like this. I see it. No copyright. No copyright.
We can use that. Let's grab it.
No copyright. Not copyright. Okay. I'll be like, let me borrow this. Thank you for that perfect B-roll. I appreciate you. I didn't even have to type in all of those adjectives you did. All I had to do is research and found. Listen, Samuel Jackson. All I had to do was scroll through AI generated stuff, and you've already created it for me. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm just going to snatch this right here and put this at 23 minutes and 14 seconds in my film. Appreciate you. Look, so that makes me happy.
So, I mean, the tools are there. I like tools. Tools are to make life a little bit easier. The reason we use the electric drill is so we can put the screw in quicker, get it out. Mm-hmm. Or we can drill a hole so we can screw that in. But there's also a reason I still use a screwdriver. Just want you to think about that.
That part.
Lewis says text to video will be the game changer. It will. It depends on when. It all kind of, at this point, it really just depends on when. So I had to blow Lewis up real quick, but I don't know how. So okay, there we go.
Blow Lewis up real quick.
What's up, Lewis? That's the thing. This is all the game changer now. Like I told everybody, actually, I was talking to Kai Jackson last night via text because he was at work and getting ready, and we were talking about the Canon R5C and the dual fish lens that Canon has for that virtual reality VR filming. And the funny thing is, the camera is now on back order. Since the Apple Vision Pros came out, I never seen that kit on back order. But Apple Vision Pro drops, boom, everybody went shopping because they see it coming. That virtual VR filmmaking is solidified. Before, because it's not new. VR filmmaking is not new. It took a lot of script writing. Actually, here's a funny thing: it takes a lot of script writing to make a VR movie because people are talking about where to look, where to focus. How's the story going to play out on VR? Mm-hmm. All right. It's something we got to think about because story writing is going to be key to VR. Where are you focusing your audience at when it comes to it? So
not on the hands.
Yeah. Oh, just don't look at the hands, please.
Just
You
don't know
can't
the answer.
think about it. You can't have a movie where the guy points at him anymore. So you can't have a Denzel pointing at somebody because why does Denzel have 7 fingers? You know, what does God need with a starship? So like you got to really think about this. It's gonna get very interesting very quick. I think Soror has opened stuff out with the chat GPT AI. It has, Lewis. I agree with you. But I think that it's going to thrive the most right now with virtual backgrounds. I think that's where it's going to really thrive. And
Yeah.
I'm going to click this real quick. Look at the environment they put them in. They move them from the mountains to the woods. Okay. Y'all see that? Like, yeah, to be able to do that.
Part.
See, green stream and live compositing. You can do this right here, right now. They still got the same dirt they had on the ground in the first place. They just changed the backdrop. I just want y'all to see that and understand that. That's where I'm saying that's where we'll be this year and next year for a minute. Then as it improves with people, then it's going to really change. And see, you don't even have to buy green screens no more because if you have LED, you see how they put up a green screen background and they designed it for compositing? You already have that built in. And you can do it at a smaller level. If you look at his sunglasses, you still see the wooded environment on the sunglasses as opposed to the green screen spill that normally happens. Okay? Exactly. Let's put it with Unreal is over. So this is where I'm, see, because you still got the background environment around him, so you can add more here. That's that lighting. That's that wraparound. That's that you get rid of certain things, and that's where that plays. So we've been here talking y'all ears off for a minute. We hope we've added to your mindset about filmmaking and the direction in which we're going. And as independent filmmakers, where we need to be going and look to. TK, what is your 60-second drop?
My 60-second drop in regards to this, which, we talked about, we have to understand, like I said, where we fit into. Things are changing, but like you said, I still use a screwdriver for a particular reason. And so we have to understand where we fit in this environment. Like everything is going to change around us. Everything is going to continue to change. Technology is going to continue to grow. And, as we chase it, we still have to understand where we fit in all of this. That's just my whole thing.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Thank you. I am with you. As I always say, be intentional. No, be strategic, intentional, and authentic. That's the key is to learn. The key is to pay attention and get involved in those surroundings and not just be aware of something, but start putting it to use. Like I can learn. It's funny because some people like say about me, oh, but he teaches a lot. He teaches. Yeah, but you know what? I do the practical every day. Every day I'm on a camera. Every day I film something. I'm always editing something every week because I teach this. It's practical to me every day. I have to now, and here's the thing, because I teach filmmaking and video production, digital media, I have to always learn filmmaking, digital production, and media. It can't stop because I'm creating the next group of filmmakers or producers or content providers, and I have to make them aware of what's currently out there and what's coming. You see, people, the interesting thing is some people who just make films, they just make films. They're not looking at what's coming because they're not thinking about how it affects them or impacts them. But the crazy thing is I have to know what's coming because it impacts the future creator. So study this. It impacts your business. It impacts your creativity. If you're not studying filmmaking in whole, the technology, the tools, the software, you're not in groups, you're not chatting, you're not building networks and sitting down with people, you're running into a bigger problem. You'll be behind before you could get ahead. And I often say, we often are already far behind. I can show you a young guy right now in his 20s using this stuff. When I'm talking about this, I'm talking about the VR, the LED backdrops, creating virtual reality sets and filming their short films on it. Young guys, I'm talking about in their 20s, in their teens. And in our community, our kids ain't doing it yet.
So also the next time we come on, I would like to hear other gems from other creatives, other filmmakers and creatives in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
So just giving y'all a heads up now. Giving you guys a heads up now.
Lou says SAG Awards is on Netflix. I ain't see the SAG Awards, but it's on Netflix. Interesting.
That is interesting.
I'm telling you, these platforms. All right, y'all. We love y'all. We appreciate you. Hey, thank you for joining us here at the Black Filmmakers Lounge. Saturday morning, Indie Industry Shop Talk. And yes, it will be, hey, we are, what are we about? Here we go. The Black Filmmakers Lounge is where independent filmmakers, whether novelists or professionals, come together to gain insight and perspective through education, information, networking, and to discuss industry best practices that will advance the Black interdependent film community. Not independent, interdependent film community. So let's make sure we connect. And like Lucy said, the SAG Awards on Netflix are live tonight. And like, subscribe, and share. Like he said, like, subscribe, share. We on YouTube and Facebook. We have an Instagram page. Subscribe, share, put this out. Let people know you're watching. And we love you guys. And we're out. Peace.